We're back with your Money Monday. Joining us, as always, Denise Kaiser, Executive Director for the Center for Financial Health. And Denise, we're now in week 2 of our 30-day money challenge, and we're talking about how to get organized with your #1 tool for saving money. Tell us all about it.
That's right. Well, by now you've been completing a daily task every week that's helping you build better habits in controlling your money and achieving financial success. So today we're going to talk about your #1 tool that will help you save more money. When we bring in money into our household, we need to be planning for how to spend it. A lot of folks that I meet with and talk with don't really have a plan. Right. So how do we plan? We're going to use the word budget, which has a lot of negative feeling towards it.
It's the B word.
It's the B word, that's right. No one ever likes to talk to me about budgeting. But in reality, it's our #1 tool that's going to help us win and get control of our finances, because it really is a plan. It's not restrictive like most people think. It actually, by having a budget, it's giving us permission to spend, but spend within control. So a budget's going to help us plan for the future. It's going to help us make the most out of every single dollar we're earning that we're bringing in to the household. And it's also going to help us achieve our financial goals that we set last week. So,
and ultimately it's about that blueprint and following that blueprint, that plan, that budget.
Absolutely.
And that is ultimately going to help you be successful.
Right. We've said this before. We can't get to where we're going if we don't know, where we're going. That's why we set the financial goals. The budget really is the tool or the ship that's going to get us there to achieving our financial goals.
Okay, so tell me, what is the right way to go about a budget?
Well, use these tips when you're creating your budget. First of all, you want to plan ahead. So we're already into the month of January, so we're going to be planning for February's budget. First of all, we're going to write it down or put it in an app, budgeting app, or using Excel spreadsheet so that we can document it. We're going to document all of the income that we have coming into the household, so the net income you're planning on for the month of February. And then from that, you're going to subtract each expense category and be realistic with your expenses. At the end of your budget, you're going to have a realization. If you will. You're going to know whether or not you have a surplus of funds at the end of the month, or if you have a deficit. If you have a surplus, that's wonderful, but let's plan for that surplus. So if you have $200 left at the end of the month, let's move that into a different category. Put it towards your savings, your emergency fund, or maybe put it towards paying down your debt. But do something with it so there's a purpose, because otherwise you're going to get to March and wonder where the heck that $200 went, right?
So our 30-day money challenge is underway. We have all the steps you can start taking right now, and we'll have updates as we go from the Center for Financial Health, and you'll find it all on our website, Wlns.com. We're back with your Money Monday. Joining us as always is Denise Kaiser. She's the Executive Director for the Center for Financial Health. Tonight we're talking about 5 things you can do if you get behind on your bills. I've been there pretty much every month since I started paying bills. So what do we do?
We all have at one point or another. Well, we're working hard this year on getting control of our money, getting into a better plan. However, inevitably life happens, right? And things happen. You might fall behind on a bill or two. So we're going to give you some tips on what to do if you find yourself falling behind on bills. The first thing is you have to know where you're at, right? You need to take an inventory of all your bills, your household expenses, and your income coming in. We do that with a budget, and that's why a budget is our #1 tool for winning with money. We talk about a budget a lot on this show. The second thing is really to stop the digging. So if you find yourself in a situation where there's just not enough money to pay all the bills, you've got to stop spending money, period, until you know where you're at and have a plan. The third thing is you need to call and discuss. So calling and discussing some of those bills that are late. A lot of times creditors will work with you, but only if you're behind. So call your creditors, don't avoid those situations, and prioritize, right? We know that housing should be the first priority every month when you're doing your budget and planning your payments. Especially if you're a homeowner, because if you're a homeowner and you get behind on your mortgage, it's really difficult to get caught up, but it's really important that you communicate with your lender. A lot of times we just want to avoid those conversations.
Bad thing to do.
It is, and there is help for people that fall behind on their mortgage. Even today in our environment, you can get help with a HUD-approved housing counselor, and there's also still some rescue funds if you've fallen behind in your mortgage. But the important thing is call and discuss and see what your options are. And then #5, you can make a plan on getting back on track. How are you going to get back on track? Do we need to add more income? Do we need to cut expenses? You're going to know, plan, and get on the path of getting financially healthy again.
Well, awesome. Well, we have more tips from the Center for Financial Health on our website. You'll find that link under our Scene on 6 section of WLNS.com. We're back now with your Money Monday. Joining us, as always, our money expert, Denise Kaiser. She's the Executive Director of the Center for Financial Health. Tonight, we're talking about co-signing. We've all seen so many stories about co-signing gone wrong. So what can you tell us about it?
Lots of things can go wrong in co-signing. So if you're the person asking for a co-signing, you know, that's a different story.
Right.
But let's say somebody comes to you and asks you to co-sign for a personal loan, a credit card, a car loan, or even a mortgage. You know, if you take that responsibility on, and it is a responsibility, it's 100% responsibility. Because if the person that you're co-signing for doesn't pay, guess who has to pay?
Me.
You. And then, you know, sometimes we think, well, that we could do it for our children, our kids, and, you know, I do have a lot of parents that have done it in the past, and most of them are good stories. However, there are some bad stories too. So you have to know that as a parent, you're taking on co-signing responsibility, that you're going to pay that debt if whomever you're co-signing for doesn't pay it, the total amount of the debt. And then there's some other risks too. So let's say, you know, you and your spouse go together and you're married happily, and you take on a mortgage together, credit card debt together, car loans together, that sort of thing. You know, we know that sometimes, sadly, relationships don't work out, marriage or not marriage. And when those relationships don't work out, the debt is still there, and it still has to be accounted for, and you're both responsible for that debt, the repayment of it. I have a lot of times where people will come in and say, well, you know, we went through a divorce, or the court has ordered so-and-so to pay for that debt. Your creditors don't care. You know, the divorce decree, you could hold it up in a law of court and sue the other person, but the creditors are not going to remove your name from that debt until it's paid in full. So whenever we're co-signing, we have to remember we're liable 100% for the debt, for those payments. The debt also, you know, prevents us sometimes from applying for loans for ourselves. If we were to buy a house or a car, get a credit card, that creditor that we're applying for, or to rather, is going to take into account that existing debt that you co-signed for. So it could prevent you from getting access to credit in the future.
Well, those are some great tips, and we have more tips for you on our website. You'll find it under the Seen on 6 section of WLNS.com. We're back with your Money Monday. Joining us as always is Denise Kaiser, Executive Director of the Center for Financial Health. And tonight we're talking about financial wellness at your workplace. It seems like money problems follow people wherever they go, including work. So how can your money problems affect your work?
Well, you know, I like to use this quote often. It's a lyric, actually, you know, from Snoop Dogg. I got my money on my mind and my mind on my money. I think it goes the other way, but you know what I'm saying, right?
That's right.
So, yeah, we don't leave our money problems at home. We don't leave that argument that we had with our spouse the night before about money at home when we go to work in the morning. And employers have been taking note. They know that money problems affect your productivity as an employee. It affects your absenteeism. You have a higher absenteeism rate because you're worried about that fight, trying to fix your money problems, or maybe your money problems are causing you so much stress that you're having physical illnesses now that are caused primarily from that stress over your money problems.
Well, and you just talked about a bunch of problems, so how can financial wellness programs help you at work?
Well, when you're able to get control of your money situation so that you're not worried as often or as constantly as you are about fixing them, when you have your money problems under control and you know you have enough income, enough money to make your bills each month, you're going to have less arguments with your spouse. You're going to be more positive on the job, and you're going to be more productive because you're not constantly worried about your money. And financial wellness programs can help you overcome those hurdles.
And how would you know if your employer offers financial wellness plans?
My best suggestion is to talk with your human resource department. They're going to have an idea of what's offered in your benefits program. Many employers have added this financial wellness program over the last few years as part of their benefits program. But employees either don't know that it's available, or they do, but they really don't know what it's about or how it could help them. Or sometimes they're worried about confidentiality because they don't want their employer to know that they have the money problems. But most of these financial wellness programs are confidential. They involve either an online training, or in my case, I go out to local employers and teach on these subjects and train people. You could join a money challenge, you could join some type of financial group education. Sometimes employers are bringing those out on site too. So there's lots of options, lots of opportunity, and hopefully your employer is one that's added this program in the last few years.
Well, those are some great tips, and we have more useful information for you under the Seen on 6 section of WLNS.com.